What would you do if you had unlimited time and unlimited resources? Are your current activities and your current priorities true to that answer? This culture of hustle is an empty promise. Friends, I want to start today's episode by asking a very simple, yet I hope thought-provoking question. And the question is this: what is your God? If I'm being completely honest, I've had to ask myself this question multiple times in my career. What is my God? Notice I didn't ask who is my God. I said, what is my God? You know, as entrepreneurs, we focus intensely on success, whatever success might mean to you. For me, as I've said, success is achieving everything that God has for me in my life. I don't want to meet him not leaving it on the field. I don't want to meet him saying, Justin, you could have done this, instead you settle for less than your best. That is success for me. But oftentimes I've found myself prioritizing money, fame, the world's approach of success to my own detriment. It's so easy for me as a business owner to get caught up in the next sale or making the next million or put whatever you put there. Today's episode is a very hard episode for me. I've been thinking about this particular topic now for about a month and a half, and the precipice or the tipping point for this particular episode happened while I'm laying on the beach in the Dominican Republic with my wife beside me as we're talking. And some of our conversation ultimately brought clarity on how I want to approach this particular topic that has been bothering me for some time. You know, several times in my life, I have pursued something. I have pursued the next million. I pursued fame. I pursued fortune. I have pursued notoriety, whatever it may be. And it wasn't until my wife is literally laid in the hospital because of the COVID virus, and we honestly didn't think she was going to live. I'm actually planning her funeral just about in my head. And a dear friend of mine came beside me and said, Justin, I'm going to ask you a simple question. He said, Justin, if you had unlimited time and unlimited resources, what would you do tomorrow that you're not doing today? Now, I want you to think about the wording of that question. Words matter to me. Whenever he used particular words, my brain began dissecting that sentence. He used the word unlimited time. Now, none of us have unlimited time. Our time is measured in 24-hour days, the span of our life. We all are giving the same hours in a day. So instantly I went, well, that's not possible. We can't have unlimited time. And then he said unlimited resources. He didn't say unlimited talent, unlimited money, He didn't quantify. He said unlimited resources. Well, the reality is none of us have unlimited resources. We're all limited to some capacity. So when he asked that question and then framed it around a time frame of what would I do tomorrow that I'm not doing today, man, that question rocked my world. It was as if I took a sucker punch to the gut. Here I am laid up in the hospital, and instantly I said I'd spend more time with my family. Now, granted, my wife's laying there beside me in the bed. She's not doing well. We literally think she's dying. The doctors don't know what's going on. And I'm saying, you know, the last 20 years of my life with this beautiful lady, I didn't spend as much time as I could with her. All the accolades, all the successes, all the millions of dollars that we created didn't matter at that point. I said, man, I spend more time with my family. He said, okay, what else would you do? I said, I write more books. I love writing. I love trying to influence and impact others. That's why I do this podcast. This is not a money-making thing for me. It is an ability for me to just share. And those who embark on this journey with me, I hope I can leave you better, challenge you, or hopefully just add some insight that you can live the life that God's designed for you. And I said, I'd invest in my children. Those were 3 answers real quick. He said, why would you invest in your children? I said, because I believe that I'm raising ballistic missiles for Christ. I believe that if I can teach my children to be everything that God has designed them to be while they're in my home, then they're going to excel. That's from what I believe. Those were the quick 3 answers. Now, since that time period, I've written down dozens of things that I desire. Dozens of things. So let me ask you the same question. What would you do if you had unlimited time and unlimited resources? Are your current activities and your current priorities true to that answer? You know, this culture of hustle is an empty promise. It's an empty promise. As I'm laying on the beach, as I mentioned earlier, I'm laying on the beach with my wife, and we're in the Dominican Republic. We're spending some time together, just she and I. We turned the world off, and she's like, hey, I want you to look at this on Instagram. So she gave me her phone, and on Instagram, somebody that I follow made this statement. They said, wake up and grind. Wake up and grind. And they had a picture of the watch, and it was 4:30 in the morning. Okay, cool. That's this individual's, kind of modus operandi. They say they would get up every morning and go work out. Cool. I love it. I'm all for them. But then that same individual at 11:30 at night put another picture saying, still grinding. It's like, well, that's interesting. They've been working like 20 hours this day or whatever the time frame was, a ridiculous amount of time. Why is there honor in working ourselves to death? Over the Labor Day weekend, when we got back to Tennessee, I see another influencer say this exact statement. If you're taking a break today, you're weak. It's like, wait a second, it's a national holiday. You're spending time with your family, and now you're going to say that if you're not working today, you're weak? Man, I just don't know if I subscribe to that. This mindset of hustle, this mindset of let's make another dollar, this mindset of let's get as rich as possible. I know another influencer said, quote, I want to be a billionaire. I don't care about having children. I don't care about my family. I don't care about my friends. The money comes first. In modern history, I've seen some amazing things, but I don't think I've seen anybody put it out there on this question as I did Jerry Seinfeld in a recent interview. Again, we're down in the Dominican Republic, and Emily shows me Jerry Seinfeld. And it's a 1-minute clip. And in this 1-minute clip, he asked a simple question. He said, when did money become everything? Now, whenever I see a clip that's usually a minute long, I go back and try to find the original and see the context of it. So I found this interview, and I downloaded the transcript, and I'm reading the interview, which was a very powerful interview. And he goes on to say in this interview, he's like, in the 1970s, people found fulfillment in their work. I can remember my grandmother. She worked at the Rich CPAC company in Brunswick, Georgia, breading shrimp for 40 years. And she loved it. That was her thing. You never heard her complain. She loved her friends. She loved her family. She loved her community. She loved her church. She just loved people, but she spent years breading shrimp. That was her fulfillment. You wouldn't ask her to do anything else. I called her Nanny. I said, Nanny, are you happy? She said, I'm blessed. I'm unbelievable. I'm having the time of my life. She found meaningful impact in that particular job. Seinfeld's words went on to say, he said, if your work is unfulfilling, the money will be too. You see, this mindset of we got to get all we can. We got to get $1 billion. We're going to forget everybody else. It's all about getting that next dollar, the next million. We're going to work to gain money. And it's like, really? Really? I want to take us back to Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, one of the wealthiest and most successful people in my generation. During the end of his life, he was reflecting. He didn't talk much about money. As he was nearing death, he began emphasizing the importance of happiness, health, and relationships. In fact, here is what he famously said. Number one, don't educate your children to be rich. Educate them to be happy. Think about that. This comes from the person who pursued fame, fortune. He went on to say the 6 best doctors in life are sunlight, rest, exercise, diet, self-confidence, and friends. He didn't say working 4:30 to 11:30 at night. He didn't say getting another $1 million. He didn't say all the things that this society that we live in and this world that we live in that says, hey, we got to go out and make more money, make more money, make more money. He didn't say that. I'm reminded of a long-term biblical perspective. As you know, I'm a Christian. And as a Christian, I often find that today's issues that we see have been repeated from the past mistakes. In fact, one of the wisest men in history, God said he was the wisest man ever to live, and actually the wealthiest man ever to live, faced the same questions we did today. Solomon's story is amazing. Again, wisest and wealthiest man ever to live, ever. And after he had everything, after he had wealth and power and prestige, he came to the ultimate conclusion in Ecclesiastes 12. He said, vanity, everything is vanity. Everything is vanity under the sun, except for love God and keep his commandments. In fact, he said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. This is the wisest man ever lived, the richest man ever to live. Sounds very familiar. Sounds like Steve Jobs almost, doesn't it? there's this epiphany that at some point each of us go through. In my younger days, man, I pursued every dollar I could. I'm the guy. I'm the guy who missed so much of my children's life for money. In fact, it wasn't until my coach stepped into my life and I started my business from scratch in December 2017, and my coach said, Justin, you've got to do it different. And whenever I took my eyes off money and I placed my eyes on the things that mattered most to me, following good fundamental principles, which we always talk about on the show, my life radically changed. Now, the byproduct was money. That's fine. But there's a calling that each of us have. And I've said this over and over. I truly believe with all my heart, friends, that God is preparing you for what He's prepared you for. I believe there's something only that you and I can achieve. I believe there's a pathway that I am walking that no one else can walk because God's gifted me in a specific manner, a specific way. So I'm going to take you back. Some of you may not know this. I don't talk about it much, but after Emily and I got married, we sold our first business, which is still in existence today. I love my business. It was a landscape company. The man who bought it is a great friend. He's doing exceptional work down in the islands of South Georgia. And I came to Knoxville, Tennessee and joined the Masters of Seminary class. Yes, I wanted to be, I thought, a pastor. You're like, Justin, what? Yeah, I was going to be a preacher. Like, oh, it all makes sense. Now it all makes sense. No, hear me out. So I'm sitting in seminary. We're learning Greek. We're learning Hebrew. We're doing these various things. And in this one particular class, on this one particular day, the professor read something on my face. I'm not exactly sure what he read, but he said, hey, Justin, we hold tight for a second. I want to talk to you. So sure, everybody else went out of class. I'm sitting there. I'd already sold a business. My wife and I are there. We have a little baby on the way. And he said, why are you here? I said, because I believe that God's called me to preach. I believe that God's called me to do that. He said, really? I said, well, no, not really. I think in order for me to be 100% in alignment with Him, then the highest calling is that of a pastor. And he made this simple question. He said, doesn't God need Christian business people too? Friends, in that moment, there was like an epiphany that went off. Here I am studying to be a pastor in seminary, and the professor asked me this simple question. Doesn't God need people to be business owners too? I can remember coming home that night, calling my mom and dad and said, I quit. Now that's a big word for me. You may have heard me say this before. Goodbreads don't quit. In fact, my dad over and over growing up, he often said, son, God gets no glory in quitting. If He's giving you a task to do it with all your heart, all your might, unto the Lord, not unto men. Don't quit. Keep going, keep going. And that's where probably my bullheadedness comes from. In fact, I would say that's where a lot of my success, whatever you want to define success, has come from, is this tenacious attitude that I'm not going to quit. But in that moment, I remember calling mom and dad and said, I quit. Mom's like, what's going on? I said, God needs Christian business people. I know business. I know how to produce revenue. I know how to make money. I'm going to go and make money and take the money and give it to missions. And I remember her saying, be careful, be careful. There's a scripture in 1 Thessalonians 4 that says, stay calm, mind your own business, do your own job. In that moment, mom said, be careful. You've got to focus on your calling, and your calling is never to make money. It's got to be something bigger. Now, this is 20 years ago, and I didn't know at that point in my infancy and my arrogance as an early 20-year-old who had just sold a successful business. I didn't know exactly what she was saying, but as I aged through time, I quickly understood that we as business people cannot be focused on two things. In fact, the scripture says, a double-minded person is unstable in everything. And some of the biggest struggles that I experienced was whenever I was trying to not stay true to the calling that I had on my life. Zig Ziglar said it this way. He said, help others get everything out of life that they desire, and you will get everything out of life that you desire. It's amazing how that works. But oftentimes I would stay focused on this world's allure of how much more money can I create? Because it's so easy. Friends, it is so easy to make money. It's simple to me. You're like, Justin, I don't see it. May I challenge you? It's easy to make money, but only when you're following your calling, your passion. I remember Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which impacted my life greatly. I still read it every year. In fact, whenever we travel to Colorado here in a couple of weeks, I'll play that book for my son, my 16-year-old, along with 2 others as we travel across the country. And we'll listen to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And one of the very first things they teach in that book is the rich don't work for money because it is not their God. So may I challenge you at this point? What is your priority? You may say, Justin, man, I desperately want to do this. I desperately want to fill in the blank. For me, it was I want to impact as many people as possible. For me, it was I want to support some orphanages around the world. For me, it was I want to travel with my family. For me, it was I want to work with people who truly want to excel, the best of the best. But the reason why I can't do that, Justin, is this business that I've created has me shackled. I have to keep up the grind or else I'm going to sink, man. I've got to keep up the grind so I can pay the bills, so I keep the employees, so. And the list goes on and on. Friends, if you feel like your business is running you like I did before I relaunched my company from scratch, if you feel like your business is running you, do what I did. Hire a coach. Hire somebody to come in and break those habits. I literally was talking with somebody this week, somebody who was interviewing me for one of my one-on-one coaching programs, and private clients, what I call it. I'm like, Goodbread, I want to hire you to be my personal coach. I explained the program that we'll meet X number of times per month and that you'll have unlimited access, but the fee is X, and the fee didn't bother him. But it came down to the point that he wasn't a right fit. He was there to gain knowledge, but he wasn't willing to break the hard habits. He had been in business for years and he was uncoachable. And I'm like, man, I just don't think that you're the right person for me. Let me introduce you to another coach out there. So there are ways, friends, that if you find yourself having to pursue money because of the Frankenstein business that you have, we can break it. It's not hard to break. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. What's interesting is this. If we look at the core question, what is our God? Is it money, fame, success, or something deeper? We can circle back to Jerry Seinfeld's question, when did money become everything? But the reality is this, if we prioritize on creating value for our lives, if we prioritize our lives on the things that God has created us for, that only we can do, isn't it amazing that everything else works its way out? You know, Jesus himself said you cannot serve God and money. It's interesting though, is when you focus on your true calling, what happens is God provides all of your needs according to his riches, which his riches are a lot bigger than Steve Jobs or Elon Musk or even King Solomon's. He owns everything. He says he's going to provide all of our needs according to his riches. So may I challenge you today? Has this world's current craze of making as much money as you can, has it captured you into a prison of success to where now you're watching the world go by at the allure of money only to wake up one day and say, vanity, everything is vanity except to love God and keep his commandments? Friends, that's not what I wanted for my life. And until I sat back in my own journey and said, enough's enough. And my friend asked me that powerful question, if I had unlimited time and unlimited resources, what would I do tomorrow that I'm not doing today? And I sat there and fully thought about it and realized that within 5 years' time, I can change everything in my life. And I said, I want to impact as many people as possible. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to invest in my children. I want to write more books. Boom, boom, boom. Out of that comment came 2 books, one being a #1 Wall Street Journal bestseller, one being an international bestseller. I've got another one right now in process, all because of that one simple question. When I prioritized what I believe God had for my life, came an 8-figure exit. Everything I had been chasing for decades, man, everything came to fruition in an instant. When I say instant, 3 years, 4 years time, in an instant. Whenever I focused on the thing that God had designed me for, and that was to impact and influence as many people as I can. Zig Ziglar had it right. Help others get everything out of life they can get, and you'll get everything out of life you desire. So let me challenge you. Who is your God? Till next time, friends, y'all go out and make it a great day.